To the City of Highland Park's meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for February 19th, 2026. Patrick, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Member Harmelech?
Here.
Member Arnoff?
Here.
Member Weisberg?
Here.
Member Trushansky? Member Zaransky?
Here.
Vice Chair Chase?
Here.
And Chair Yablon. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's see. The second order on our agenda is approval of the minutes. Board members, has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Any corrections to the minutes?
Nope.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I motion to approve the January 15th minutes as drafted.
Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion by Member Weisberg, second by Member Zaransky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'd like to abstain. since I was not at the meeting.
Perfect.
Do we have any business from the public that is not otherwise on the agenda? If not, do we have any old business? Well, then let's move to the first order of new business, which is, I'm turning my page. This is for VAR 2026-00059, property at 363 Woodland Road. The appellant, Deborah and Barry Kravitz. This is for a building, about a building setback. Patrick, do we have a staff report? Or
Yes.
a presentation, sorry.
So 363 Woodland Road. Applicant Deborah and Barry Kravitz. Proposal is for a new addition. The home is located in the R5 zoning district, and the home was built in 1935, according to the Lake County Assessor's Office. The requested relief is to encroach into the established building setback of 50.93 feet by 8.63 feet for a new addition. Here's the location of just kind of the block. It's here in the center with ravine in the back of the property. And here's an aerial look at the property as well. So the existing property, this dotted line here is a 40-foot building line. It slightly encroaches into that. It's at 39.8 or something. So it slightly encroaches into the minimum front yard requirement and is also non-conforming with the established building setback. Here's the property. The new addition will be located here above the garage, and it'll just look like a continuation of the existing home. So in blue is the existing home, and in yellow is where the proposed addition will be located. The first line red of here is the 40-foot minimum front yard setback, where the existing house lines up to it. And this red line here is the established building setback of 50.93 feet. As you can see, the existing home is already non-conforming with that requirement. And the new addition will be set back from the minimum and will only encroach into the established building setback by 8.63 feet. Here are some elevations of the property. Again, this is in white. The gray is kind of the existing conditions. It's a continuation of that roof line and the existing home above the garage. I did not receive any additional staff comments for this project, and the applicant attached 8 letters of support, which was attached in the application packet. We received no additional comments after the packet posting. So, in review, the requested relief is to encroach into the established building setback of 50.93 feet by 8.63 feet for a new addition, and the board should be using Chapter 150 standards of approval. And let me know if you have any questions.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
First question is, like you mentioned that there already are existing nonconformities.
Correct.
Have there been any variances, anything approved for those nonconformities?
None that I saw. It's an old home, as it was constructed in 1935. I don't know when the established building setback was created, but my assumption is what the rule was to be up to that building line that was set by the subdivision. So it's just been non-conforming for a considerable amount of time.
And do we have a definition of established building setback?
Yes, so what the established building setback is it takes the average of how close from the property line to the closest point of an existing structure. It averages all of those distances, which this block is quite considerably long, and that then becomes the new requirement. In the R5, the max the ABS can be is 150% of the minimum, which the minimum is 40 feet. So the max it can be is 60 feet, but in this case, it's only at 50.93 feet. So it takes the more restrictive front yard requirement.
And it takes for the entire block? What are the properties that are used?
Yes, so it goes from end of block to end of block only on this north side of the block.
Okay.
There can be breaks, so the breaks are when it comes up to a street. Sometimes the steep slope zone cuts through blocks. That's another break. This one just is a pretty considerably long block that doesn't have breaks.
Anybody else have any questions for Patrick? Is there anyone in the audience who wants to present for this?
Thank you, Patrick. For the record, my name is Cal Bernstein. I'm the attorney for the applicant, and I'm prepared to be sworn.
Do you affirm that the testimony that you intend to provide this evening is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Since the chair asked questions about the established front yard setback, I'll give a quick history of it. It's a fairly recent ordinance. It's probably about 30, 35 years old. And the purpose of it is because certain neighborhoods were developed different than the actual minimum front yard setback. So the classic example is Sheridan Road. As you go from Cedar all the way to uptown Highland Park, the houses kind of line up. Those houses are all lined up. That's how the road was developed. That was not. They were not lining up on the minimum front yard setback line. They were actually pushed back, and so the city decided, well, they wanted to preserve the front yards as much as possible as neighborhoods have evolved, and so they created the established front yard setback. The city realized, 30 years ago that there would be issues with it, especially with ravines were in the rear and lots would have different lengths and sizes because that kind of dictates where houses were developed back in the 1930s as this block was created. In addition, another prime example is Ravinia, all those houses that line up, they're all lined up together on a straight street. This street is curving, and so you really don't have a real like straight established, a streetscape where everything's kind of lining up because the road curves. So the applicant in this situation is looking to upgrade the upstairs of their house, trying to make a larger, trying to modernize their primary bedroom and bathroom. And the logical place to put it is right there and line it up with the existing roof line. When the architect designed the addition, he lined it up with the second floor, which is already set back from the first floor. So there's less of encroachment than the existing home. So it kind of satisfies that unwritten standard that's not in the code, that it was the minimum that they were looking to do to try to accomplish their goal, and that's what they try to do here. Actually, they thought about going further, but it really works well having the roof lines line up directly with the existing second floor. As I mentioned, it's stepped back, and I do want to also mention that that even with this new addition, the house is significantly less than the allowable FAR. They can add another 600 square feet if they wanted to. So they're not trying to max out the inside of their house. I addressed all the standards in the letter that we submitted. I would just note that the hardship is the site context and the fact the house is already existing non-conforming that's driving that absent receiving a variance, that this house cannot be improved, and the alternative is what's next door is a tear down, and someone built a new house. So we're seeking tonight, the variation is submitted. I'm available if any other questions, or I can go through the standards more thoroughly, but I believe I took a good stab of it in the submittal.
Thank you. I have a question, but it kind of probably involves Patrick. Can we get to see the elevations again, the picture? I just wanted to see what Mr. Bernstein was talking about. So you're continuing the line.
Yes.
Okay.
The existing second floor roof line, you can see it from the side elevation. Right. Yeah.
I don't think I have any other questions. Does anyone else have any questions, Mr. Bernstein? Okay.
Thank you.
Then I'm going to poll the board. Yes,
We had 8 letters of support.
yes, thank you.
Chair, would you mind asking if there's anyone from the public who would wish to speak?
Thank you for the reminder. Anyone from the public, anyone else want to speak on this matter? Anyone here want to speak on this matter? Seeing no one, now I'll go and poll the board. I'm going to start with Board Member Saransky. Any comments to this?
I think it's a good plan. I think that the standards are met. I think it was a good hardship letter. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. It's obviously appreciated that the neighbors are all on board, and I would support the variation.
Member Arnoff?
I think the request is totally reasonable, and I would support it.
Member Weisberg? Anything to add?
I would also support, it's not even a far issue. The house is already situated where it was. Makes a lot of sense to build on top, so I think it's a good plan.
Member Harmelick?
Yeah, support. Nothing anyone else has already said.
I have nothing further to add. I appreciated that the letter seemed to address all the standards. I think the standards have been met. And so I would look at my cheat sheet. Does the applicant want us to vote?
Yes, please.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve the variance approval order as written?
I'll make a motion to approve our 2026-0059 as drafted.
Second.
A motion from Member Weisberg and a second from Member Zaransky. Patrick, would you call a vote?
Yes. Member Harmalock?
Yep.
Member Arnoff?
Yes.
Member Weisberg?
Aye.
Member Zaransky? And Vice Chair Chase?
Thank you. Okay, congratulations. Next on our agenda is, sorry, I have too many papers here. This is variance 2026-00060, property at 1550 Museum Drive. The appellant is Ronald Neeson. This is a request for a fence variation. Patrick, do we have a presentation?
Yes. So 1550 Museum Drive, applicant Ron Neeson. Proposal is to exceed the maximum fence height. Property is located in the R2 zoning district, and the existing home was built in 2018. So the requested relief is to exceed the maximum allowable fence height of 4 feet by 4 feet to allow a fence 8 feet in height along Point Lane. So here's the property. Let's turn this on. This property has 3 frontages, half day. This is Point Lane here, and then this is Museum. And here's a look at the property from an aerial. So, since this property has 3 frontages, it carries 3 front yard requirements. This property did come before you last year. It had some additions here and here, requesting zoning relief. This project is only for the fence height, so it's not kind of tied in with that one, but if members are familiar of this property, that is why. There is an existing fence along Half Day Road here, and the proposal is to put another fence here along Point Lane. So here's a picture of me standing at, this is Point Lane, and then Half Day here. The fence stretches along there and then cuts in so an important point is that since this is a busy intersection, you want to keep fences outside of a kind of a visibility clearance area. The requirement is from property line to be 25 feet back and 25 feet back. This proposal does that. You can see how it kind of turns in to keep the corner visible for turning vehicles. But, so the fence proposal, it's a little darker than I'd like it to be. Will to stretch this fence here along Point Lane. Again, pretty dark here, but the fence would be located here along Point Lane. And then this is from Museum where the fence would be located on the side of the property. Sorry, I didn't realize it would be so dark. So just another look on the site plan. Again, the fence stretches along the corner here to be 25 feet out. The fence will not go 25 feet up here to stay outside of the intersections. It'll only stretch here along the property line. I did notice just now that this is on the curb. What's allowed to be is just on the property line here. That's just I'll make that correction with the applicant, but just on the property line, the fence will be 8 feet in height. And they are allowed an 8-foot fence along Half Day Road. It's kind of a recent change where if this is a functional rear yard and it's along a very busy road like Half Day is, you're allowed an 8-foot fence. Now on Point Lane, they don't get the same requirement. It's off of that busier road, so they only have the 4-foot height allowance along Point Lane here. So that is what the requirement is, and therefore they're asking for a 4-foot height extension and then variation for an 8-foot tall fence. We didn't receive any additional comments from city staff or from the public. And just to review, to exceed the maximum allowable fence height of 4 feet by 4 feet for an 8-foot fence along Point Lane. And please use chapter 173 standards of approval. That's all I have.
I have a question, and I don't know if you have this information.
Yeah.
Are there other fences in this development? If they're not on the Half Day, because I understand,
So like just on the street here,
on Point Lane.
I would go to the applicant for that
Okay.
question. Yeah. I've driven down here and taken pictures, but I don't quite remember.
Anybody?
Are there any neighborhoods that have 8-foot fences in a similar situation as this?
So 8-foot fences are kind of the highest. It's a little abnormal for 8-foot fences. Generally, the only time they're allowed is when properties are backing up against busier roads. As here, if you ever drive along, what street is that? Across from the old Toys R Us by the police station.
Deerfield Road?
Thank you, Deerfield. You'll notice there's a bunch of fences on that road. That's another scenario where neighborhoods back up to that and they're allowed 8 feet fences. The other one is next to like train tracks, but typically 6 feet is the highest fences are allowed to be. And then in front yards, 4 feet.
And there's currently no fence there today, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. The only fence, wrong way. Only fence here is just along Half Day and kind of at that corner.
Can you just go to the aerial one more time and just show where it is now and where it's proposed?
Yeah, so currently there is a fence here along Half Day. It turns like this, and then so they're proposing to stretch it to approximately here along Point Lane.
And then just cut it in toward that garage?
No, it's gonna stop here. It's not gonna go around, it's just along Point Lane.
And is it going to, can it attach to the front fence or it can't because of sighting? You said something about sighting when you.
Oh, yes, it can, because the way that the fence turns in, it can attach to
Okay.
here and continue on.
Anything else?
And would it be the same material as the existing fence?
I believe so, but I'd have the applicant
What-
ask that, or answer that.
Okay, what do you think? Is there anyone here to want to
How
give
new is
testimony?
that
Wait.
8-foot requirement? The new 8-foot allowance?
So along like railroads for a while, it's like a year and a half, maybe 2 years was the, because we were getting variation requests for properties that would butt up against busy roads, so that was kind of a recent change that we amended the code for.
Is anyone in the audience present who wants to?
It's my fence.
Okay, will you come forward, please, to the lectern? And can you state your name, please?
Ron Nissen.
And do you affirm that the testimony that you intend to provide this evening is true and complete to the best of
Yes.
your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
In the beginning, I never intended to have a fence on that street, but because of the person that bought Michael Jordan's property, and that has caused me to have a fence. I had my grandkids in the I wasn't gonna put a fence, but I had my grandkids in the backyard. There was a gentleman taking pictures of me, my grandkids, and my wife in the backyard. This is the third time it's happened. I went and asked the guy, I grabbed his phone, took the phone away from him. He said, oh, I'm with the paper from Uruguay doing a story about Mr. Cooper's house. It has gotten so out of hand with the cars and the people going in and out of there. I have no privacy. I'd rather live next to a train than live over there. I bought that house in August of 24. He was not there. I bought it to be, because it was quiet, it was a great neighborhood. I came from Long Grove. I never wanted to have 300 cars going in there a day, and buses, and the college buses from Nebraska going in there and parking in front of my house. I mean, it's gotten so out of hand. It's not a neighborhood anymore. It's changed. And he's changed it. And the village has done nothing to stop it. Well, I'm going to protect my grandkids. I don't want my grandkids to be attacked or a pedophile. It's gotten out of hand. I don't know who's coming in and out of there. And I've called the police many times. There's one SUV that's bringing people in and out to take pictures. Nobody knows who's coming in and out of there. Everybody else has fences but me. All the neighbors around, including Michael Jordan's house, he has an 8 or 10-foot fence. The house next to me on the east side? The doctor, yeah, he has an 8-foot fence with a gate, electric gate, wrought iron. I'm really the only one, me and my neighbor across the street are the only ones without gates. But that Point Lane, I'm not gonna gate the front, but the Point Lane is out of hand. My kitchen is facing Point Lane. You can,
Like here.
right, no, yeah. My kitchen's right here. Every time we're eating, people are looking at us when we're eating. I mean, I've gotta literally have my blinds down all the time. And it's out of control. I put in 35 pine trees thinking that would solve the problem. It did not. And you saw the pine trees, right? Tons of them. It's not stopping the problem. I installed all those trees. I mean, if the person that bought Jordan's property, if it was a normal neighborhood, I would never put up a fence. I never had a fence in Long Grove. But because of what's going on with that property, it's in and out all day long. Buses, vans. He had a gathering, when was it, September? When he had 350 cars there. It was ridiculous. People coming in and out, parking in Bannockburn, buses shuttling in and out. I have pictures of everything. And you know what? I've got to see it nonstop. This is not a neighborhood. This is not what I spent $2 million for. I'll tell you that right now. I'm sure nobody would want to buy it the way it is. And I put a lot of money in that house because I originally bought the house to add on to the garage. And as Patrick could tell you, when I bought the house, the survey I got was not the survey that the house had. I'm sure you heard this before. So it's been a never-ending problem from day one. Then when he bought it in December, it's really got out of hand. And my neighbors, I mean, everybody's going through the same problem. I have pictures of 4 enormous Greyhound buses parked in front of my house all night long, running. And the police didn't throw them out. He had the Nebraska basketball team there for a shootout on his basketball court. This is not a public place. Now I just showed my builder, he's having a dentist seminar there with, am I right? $250 a person. This is not a commercial property. This is not a commercial area. This is a residential area. And to protect me and my kids and my grandkids, I'm gonna put up a fence.
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
One,
I'm really hot about it because it's been going on for so
No,
long.
I
And you know what?
appreciate
I
that.
put so much money in that house. In the back, I put an all-glass room in the back of the house, all glass. For what? To have people look at me whenever I'm in my house? It's ridiculous. He's really turned that neighborhood. And I hope the village stops it. I really do, because the people in that neighborhood are really had enough.
Yeah, as far as that issue goes, what's the character of the neighborhood and what's the use of the property is really not what we do here.
I understand. It's
We're
not your
here-
fault. I totally understand that.
We're here about the fence.
Right, and I'm here to protect my family.
And we're
And
here
I'm here to
about
protect my well-being and my investment in my house. And the only way I'm gonna do that is with that fence.
Okay, I have a couple questions. One, you mentioned that other neighbors
Have high
have
fences.
fences.
Yes,
But the neighbor on Point Lane, like the neighbor to the
the
west of
neighbor
you?
right here has a fence, right here, next to Michael Jordan. The neighbor over here has a fence. They have gates over here. They all have wrought iron gates. Michael Jordan's fence is 10 feet. Why does he have a 10-foot fence? To protect his family when he was here. I'm doing the same thing.
Well, the thing about the zoning board of appeals is we look at every case individually.
I understand
and
that.
Things that have happened before do not necessarily
I
affect what
understand
we
that.
do. And the issue that we're looking at specifically is, my understanding is, other than the height of the fence, nothing is stopping you from putting up a fence. But it would be the
But a
fence.
4-foot fence, they're gonna look right in my windows. I mean, think about it. Think about 4 feet. You're sitting in a van or a school bus, or you're in a Greyhound bus. How high are you off the ground? 4 feet does nothing. That's the problem. The last straw was somebody taking pictures of my grandkids. That was the last straw. And I said, it's not gonna happen on my watch, never. And the guy barely spoke English. I mean, he was from Uruguay. He gave me his paperwork from Uruguay. And I gave him his phone back. I said, get out of here. I mean, nobody wants their family to live like that. And I'm not gonna put a fence in the front. I have no intention of putting a fence in the front.
The front is on Museum.
All along Museum Drive,
Drive.
which is 350 feet? 300 feet?
This doesn't have it. Give me a second. It's probably around that.
Right, 350, 300. It's only that area of Point Drive. Because every car that goes in there, every bus goes right by my house, right by my kitchen, and right by my den. And it's like open game. And at night it's worse, because the lights are on, it's dark out, they see everything. So I have to live with all my blinds down, and I can't go in my backyard. I just put a $300,000 pool in that backyard, for what? So my grandkids can play in the pool with people stopping and looking at them, taking pictures? No, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, I'm so worked up for the last 6 months.
I understand that
It's gotten so out of control.
it's, an 8-foot fence is unusual
understand.
on a residential street.
It's unusual they have 350 cars at your house too. It's unusual they have college buses parking in front of your house still. Everything's unusual. That's why I'm asking for unusual fence. This is not, that normally does not happen in a neighborhood. That happens in a commercial zone, not in a residential zone. And that is the problem. It's become a commercial zone. And unfortunately, my neighbor, we even talked about putting up a fence and a gate, and my other neighbor's gonna put up a fence across too, because he's had enough too. It's gotten so out of control, this person here, Serlin. It's really gotten crazy.
No, I sympathize with the situation. I really do. What we need to do here, and this board, is address the standards that we have for fences and flagpoles.
Well, that's why I'm applying for a variance. A variance
Right.
means
So
change.
have you, can you address the standards that we have to consider? The section 173.030 variation standards. Patrick, does he have the standards?
I think it contributes to the favorable environment of the city. It does. It's not ruining the city. It's not detrimental. I'm keeping it away from the corner. It's not at the corner. And if anything, it's not gonna depreciate my property. Jordan's property depreciated my property. Cooper buying that property has depreciated my property. Everybody's property in there has gone down dramatically because of what's going on. I mean, it's all over the news everywhere.
No, I'm,
You know, and it's gotten to the point where you're sitting there and there's news people coming in there. And there's people from all over different countries, and it's gotten so out of control. And that's why I'm asking for the fence, because I need a variance.
How many properties are in the neighborhood? Is it just,
There's what, 8? 6 or 8?
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8.
Yeah, 8.
and they're all pretty separated out, right? There's a lot
Yeah,
of.
they're separated, yeah. Most people in there have gates. I mean, Dr. Harry next to me, they have gates right there. They have gates front, side, back, everywhere, which is about 8 feet. Jordan has 8 or 10 feet,
Where's the gate for the Jordan property?
right in the front,
Let's do this.
right on Point Drive. That's why he calls it Champions Point.
Yeah, so it's about right here.
And I wish you would just go there and see what goes on every day. People don't realize. I mean, I have less problems being on the south side of Chicago at my scrapyard than I do at my home. That's pretty sad. I'm safer at work than I am over there, my grandkids. And Highland Park's not supposed to be like that. And none of these suburbs are supposed to be like that. But he's making it like that. And it's not gonna go away because he started with Airbnb, now he's trying something else, now he's having seminars, it's never gonna go away. Our plumber works in that house, he's never gonna give up, ever. And the only way for me to protect my family is to put up that fence. And I know it's unusual, I know, and believe me, it's a beautiful fence, it's very expensive. It's not detrimental to the property or the neighborhood.
any other questions?
I just have one,
Yeah, okay.
just out of curiosity, why, you want to put a fence along the road?
Point.
Why not attach it to fully make it more private back there? What's the
What
reason?
do you mean?
Well, like, go to the aerial again.
See, the problem is,
So like you're running up, I don't know what's the street called, but is it
point,
and why not put a little 20-foot section to attach it to the side of the house?
because Patrick said that you have to be 25 feet back, right?
No, I'm like right there, where the cursor, like a little bit down, like right where that line is. Like, why
Yeah.
not attach that and then your backyard's fully enclosed? Like, I'm just curious why.
I have a pool there now. It's not on there.
Right there?
There's a pool right right on the red line. Excuse me. Right on the red line, there's a pool right there.
I'm just thinking it's like an L, you're proposing like an L-shaped fence, not connecting to the house at all, though. Or am I
No, we're not
missing something?
connecting the house.
Is there a reason why? I'm just curious why.
No, we're not. Why?
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to be contained in. I don't want to be contained in. All I want is people not to watch me when I'm in my own house or my grandkids in the
Would be able
backyard.
to from the front?
You
Like,
can't see it from the front because the garage blocks it.
Go back to the,
If you go in the backyard,
So this
we should
is,
have the backyard in there, but
I see. So you're not concerned with that area
No.
behind that flagpole? You just
no, I'm not going to fence that. Not at all. My other neighbors have it. I'm not fencing the front at all. I'm just fencing where they're looking at my grandkids. You know, my daughter lives in Glencoe. She has no problem like this. None. She lives near Lake Michigan. None. Her houses are right up against each other. She never has people taking pictures or looking at the kids or anything. But because of what's going on with this property, he's ruined the neighborhood. And everybody's going to protect themselves because nobody's doing anything. And I mentioned it to Dan Shapiro. He says, you better put up a fence. Go get a variance. Because I told him what happened. He says, keep calling the police and go get a variance. You know, it's gotten to the point where it's really getting bad. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. And when summer hits, that's it. Every day he's got something going on there. You know, at one point he had 350 people there. And what happened? The plumbing? Our plumber works there. He had so many people using the bathrooms, there was manure coming out of the garage floor because it's not made to be a commercial property. The plumbing. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And it's really sad for the neighborhood. It's sad for Highland Park. It really is. Because this is a great place to live.
Thank you. I'm going to start with members who are
I
speaking.
mean, my cousin even had he owned Ocean Pictures, Harold Ramis. That was my first cousin. He even had a business here. It's just, I know it's not your problem, and I know you can't do anything about it, but you can let me have the fence.
Yeah, we're going to have to discuss,
fine.
we're going to discuss the fence. Anything
Thank
further
you.
to add on the fence?
Well, excuse
Do you
me?
have anything further to add on the fence?
No,
Okay,
I think I said enough. Thank you. Once again.
I'm the victim again?
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I agree, it is an unusual request.
Sorry, just to interject again.
Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to address this? If so, you can come forward, state your name.
No,
Why don't you want to come forward, state your name for the record, please? And, thank you, Patrick.
Tommy Pallader.
Do you affirm that the testimony you intend to provide this evening is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And your name again, I'm sorry.
Tommy Pallader. Tommy Pallider.
And your relationship to?
I'm the GC.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because you had that question about coming into the property and connecting. So this fence is not like an ordinary wrought iron fence where, my big thing about that would be that deers might get stuck in the back of this house if, because it's a completely closed off gate and it being 8 feet high, they can't just jump over it. So I just want to say that, it's not something where deers could just pass through a wrought iron gate or jump over a 4-foot fence, right? So that's also, one of the, probably a good reason as to not close off that corner. The main thing is just people aren't necessarily coming onto the property, but they're just like, I've been working there for like the last year, and like whenever we were on the backyard, people do slow down and they just stare at you. And, they stare at my guys, they see what we're doing. I don't know if it's because of the construction or, whether they just see a bunch of people, but it's, it's a little awkward when somebody just drives down the street and they slow down. Not only that, I don't know why cops love to sit on that point lane also and sit there for a few hours. I don't know why. There's been cars parked along point lane, just sitting there idling for a few hours, no idea why. On top of that, it's not in the rendering or anything, he does have a pole there, so it's probably just gonna get worse when people drive by the street and they see, you know, a woman or somebody, kids in the pool, you know, taking a swim or laying on the, you know, sunbed, it's just an awkward situation, you know? So that's kind of the hardship that he's having with it. That's pretty much it, yeah.
I'll go. Want to go? You go? Finish?
We can just go this way.
Okay. Like you said, 8-foot variance fences is pretty tall, but if you look at these standards for granting a variation, while maybe they weren't laid out individually, I looked through them and I think they are met. I think going through them, there's, you know, the applicant didn't create the problem. It's not going to alter the essential character of the neighborhood.
We're using the 173 standard?
Yeah,
Fence?
well, I mean, I was,
Okay,
oh, no, I'm sorry, I was standing for granting a variation. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Those are even looser.
Yeah, okay. Right, this is more strict. Okay, you know, I think I think all three are actually met. I really do. I could go through each one, but I think they're met, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say that a little unorthodox how it was approached, but very passionate. Appreciate your passion and understand the concern. And although it seems like you weren't aware of the standards, I think you met all of them, you know, especially as, you know, we don't have evidence of it, but assuming you're right that there's other 8-foot fences in this little subdivision, you know, it would make sense to, I think, continue on with that.
Yeah, so when we talk about the character of the neighborhood, I mean, it seems the character is very unusual. It doesn't seem very harmonious in between the 8 properties that are there. So, you know, we have an 8-foot fence already. To just kind of connect it, you know, all we'd be talking about is, you know, does it have to be a 4-foot fence, a 6-foot fence? To keep it 8 feet, you know, I don't know how it would alter the character of the neighborhood when we have properties with gates, you know, we have properties with other fences, they're pretty spread out, so it's not your standard neighborhood. I think it's a pretty simple ask here, so I'd be favor for improving, and I think we meet the standards.
Yeah, again, I think it's a little unusual of an ask. However, I'm sympathetic to your situation. And to me, it's almost like, you know, the city allows by right the 8-foot fence in your rear yard along half day. So being in a corner lot, it's sort of like your functional backyard is still kind of that corner, right? So you're just blocking in your backyard, even though it's your side yard. So, what?
It's still his backyard.
Right, it's his functional backyard, right? So so to me, like, it makes sense to, it doesn't cause me any issue extending it, to kind of block in what they're already allowing you to do on half day. And just one design question I had. I'm fine either way, to be honest with you, but would you consider moving the fence on the inside of the new trees you planted, or does it need to be on the outside of the
I
trees?
don't think it can be done because I would prefer the fence to be, I put the trees there, look at the trees.
Okay.
And turn to the other side, it defeats the whole purpose of what.
Okay, I thought it was there to attend
No, I know.
privacy.
It probably wouldn't line up with the corner
Because they're standard.
of the existing fence. So if you look there on the left picture, it wouldn't line up. Because we would probably go like 10 feet in.
Yeah, you have to go 10 or 15 feet in. Because when I put the trees there.
I'm gonna stop you. If you want to keep talking, would you mind coming up to the podium?
Honestly, I'm good either way. I just was throwing it out there, and I'm good. No further questions.
Yeah, I'm struggling with this because this is a residential neighborhood. I mean, it is a residential neighborhood. It sounds like we've got a property there that's acting like a commercial property. But it is, the character of the neighborhood is supposed to be residential, and the 8-foot fence, having an 8-foot fence is an outlier. We do it only like for very busy streets, for railroad crossings, we shouldn't be having 8-foot fences in residential areas. We should be having, the ordinance says 4 feet. And I could see a variance maybe of 6 feet, but I'm having a hard time with putting an 8-foot fence along a road in a residential area. I'm sympathetic to your concerns. It sounds like it's a very difficult situation. I'm not sure it's one that can be solved by our body here. It sounds like it's a problem that needs to go to.
I have a question. How do my neighbors get?
Okay, if you have a question, I think I need to have you come back, since you're still under oath.
Yeah,
Okay, and I'll remind you, you're still,
Sure, yep, of course. Can you go in the aerial view, please? Yeah, so this neighbor here, there is they have an 8-foot fence between his property and their property all along. It's a wrought iron fence, but there is an 8-foot fence there. And we've thought about doing 6 feet, but if you go, Patrick, can you do the corner picture that you took? So, the next one, the last one. So that berm there, in order for us to line up with the 8-foot fence along Half Day Road, we had to cut the bottom of the fence down to meet with the berm. And, because we thought about doing 6 feet, just, 2 feet higher. It ruins the the structurability of the fence. It makes it weaker, because it's hollow inside. So, that's why we decided we should just stick with 8 feet.
I have a question is there a way, do we know? I mean, I know we had to ask we don't know ourselves what the height of the other fences are, do we?
I do not know that answer. I was trying to look on Google Street View, and the house they're talking about has it blurred for privacy purposes, so I can't really see the fence at all that they're discussing. So I'd have to go out and take pictures and.
And we don't have a record of a variance, because that would have had to be a variance, right, to have a.
I would have to research that, but yeah, that would be correct. It's either it was built without a permit, or it did get a variation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they have 8 feet along the Half Day Road and side. And then I think they have.
Yeah, 8 feet along Half Day Road, they're allowed.
Yeah, they have it through a side.
Recently.
Right,
Yeah.
within the last couple of years, yeah.
The front, I think, is 4, or it might even be 6 feet. Because I remember when I was going there for the first variance to let them know about the meeting, I was stopped by a gate. I was talking to them through an intercom.
Not that long ago, Patrick, I don't know if you have record of this, but we approved some variation along Ridge. Is Ridge one street west of this? Because there's a lot of gates on that street also, kind of where like Highland Park kind of melds into Lake Forest over there, sort of like an unusual pocket of town.
I think I know which fence you're talking
Oh,
about.
like a lot of those houses have gates on Ridge north of Half Day. I don't think you can pull up a street view of that.
But, yeah, it's
on the same street.
It doesn't relate to this one.
Well, it's like a block away.
Right, but we're looking at, I mean, in my opinion, we're looking at the conformity of the neighborhood, but.
I think it's also so rare that, Point Lane, there's no houses. It's a pretty long stretch there just to get to the one house on the left and then the Jordan property. I don't know, just how many neighborhoods in Highland Park are structured in this way?
Yeah, no, this one's.
Yeah, that looks like a
About as
6-foot fence
As
to
good
me.
as I can get.
So if you go
That's
where that
4,
porta
right?
potty was.
Yeah,
So that 8-foot fence is in there.
How can you tell on that?
Because the porta potty's not.
Huh?
I mean,
That must have been a very old picture.
You're looking at the
When they were
porta
building
potty.
it. I don't know.
it's probably about 4 feet.
I also think that if we were talking about encompassing museum as well, it would kind of change it a bit. I just think if you just look at Point Road, I understand what the chair is saying here, but just to kind of give a different point of view, I just think the way it's set up currently, I do think it makes sense.
No, I'm.
Good chair.
This is a,
Would I mind you asking to speak a little bit more into the mic?
oh, sorry.
You're good.
No, I agree, this is a difficult situation. Is the board prepared to vote?
Seems like it.
We asked the applicant if you wanted to take a vote? Yes. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the variance as drafted? This is 2026-0060.
I'll make a motion to approve variance 2026-0060 as submitted.
Did I get a second?
Second.
I've got Member Arnoff making a motion, Member Harmelech seconding. And I ask you
Alright.
to call a vote?
Yes. Member Harmelech,
Yay.
Member Arnoff,
Aye.
Member Weisberg,
Aye.
Member Zaransky,
All right.
and Vice Chair Chase.
I'm voting no.
Okay. Motion passes 4-1. So yeah, this item has been approved.
Congratulations. Okay. I lost my agenda, hold on. Okay, do we have a staff report?
We do not.
Do we have any miscellany?
We do not.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do
Motion to adjourn.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Do I get to pound?